Hey everybody, Jason Sherman here. In today's episode of Zero to CEO, I have with me CEO and board chairman of CoinLion, Eric McDonald. Welcome to the show.
Jason, thanks for having me. It's good to be here.
And the episode's going to be surrounding the future of cryptocurrency and insights that you're going to provide. The crypto market, I mean, it's like a roller coaster, up and down for over a decade. I mean, Bitcoin is obviously the granddaddy, but a lot of altcoins and meme coins and the metaverse and NFTs. There's so many different things that have happened. People kind of don't know exactly what to invest in or what to look for. Take people through what the focus should be if you do want to get involved with cryptocurrency.
Yeah, you're right. It's a very, very deep world. And just being candid, like I live this every day. And there's a lot of aspects of meme coins and NFTs that I personally haven't delved, super deep into. I don't know. And part of that is I personally am focused on, hey, what are some of the most stable items, right? So Bitcoin, Ethereum, right? Those are your two biggies. And so what I've personally done is spent most of my time and energy focused on the most stable components of crypto and built a platform that leverages not leverages, but it is built around the volatility, specifically with the top 5 tokens, and that's it. And so there are people that really want to go chase after a meme token, man, have fun. That's not what I've done.
Or not have fun and lose all your money.
Yeah, exactly. And the same thing with NFTs. NFTs are all over the board. I don't play in that space. And so we focus on the top 5 tokens. They're, the most stable. And I say that knowing that, Bitcoin was down
80%.
65, yeah, exactly. So,
I mean, people were really kind of FOMOing in, during the middle of last summer or whatever it was when it went to 60, 70,000 bucks.
Yep.
And then they thought, it's going to go to 150, 200, that's the cycle or whatever, following the charts, which is hard to do. And then it just crashed, and went down to like 15 grand or whatever. So people, of course, sell off because they want to cut their losses, not realizing if they just hold till the next bull run after the next halving that maybe they'll get their money back times 5. So what are your thoughts on holding long-term and just, fighting through those horrible bear markets?
Yeah. So, CoinLion, we've built a platform around essentially algorithmic bot trading, and we've made it really stupid simple for people. Okay. So obviously I am a big believer in trading, in the sense that when the market moves down, we'll have some downside protection so that you're not losing all the way down. Like you're just not going to be out entirely. Okay.
You have stop losses automatically.
Yeah, with that stop losses built in there, and it's going to sit tight until the market maybe kind of spins around a little bit. So there's some great reasons why you would do auto trading. Okay. And so like CEO, I've poured millions into the company personally. Clearly I'm bought in. Okay.
Right.
Now, if you said, Eric, so you're telling me you don't have any Bitcoin that you're just holding on to, I'd be like, no, I do both. So I personally actually believe in doing both. Now, when Bitcoin kind of bottomed out, I made sure to sell all my crypto at the bottom, buy back in at the bottom, so that I could kind of harvest, any of those tax losses. Okay. So did I sell at the bottom? Yes. Did I buy back into the bottom? I absolutely did.
Right. So it's more of a tax initiative. You're just showing the loss on paper, but you're buying it back, and you may or may not get it for the exact price, but you're just getting a huge tax write-off. So that makes sense. Now, do you believe, and this is a question I get all the time, do you believe that FTX played a part in the bear market more so than it should have? Because when the FTX news happened, Bitcoin was actually coming out of a pretty bad bear market, and it started to show signs of, maybe it's going to start to go back. And then no, it got crushed. So is that really a big factor, or would it have happened anyway?
Most of that bear market had already happened, right? And so I don't, that was November of last year of 2022. And so, all of 22, it was horrible. It was you had 12 months before that of really a bear market. And so, no, FTX was one of I just say 5 to 6 dead bodies that floated to the surface in 22. 22 was just a horrible year.
Yeah.
Did it really create a lot of uncertainty for people? It did. So that's super unfortunate.
Yeah, I mean, people trusted the company, right? And
Yeah.
people trusted the people behind the company. And when you have a million people putting their savings into this company, and then it's a scam or whatever, Ponzi or whatever, the mixing funds or whatever they did, it puts a big red target on crypto, and the regulators, of course, coming in again, the government saying no crypto, we got to fix it, and then of course there's just constant stuff in the news. So how do you navigate this sea of uncertainty that keeps happening with crypto? Like, is it safe? Is it not safe? Is it a hedge against normal investments? Is it not? Should I put my money in it, or should I put it in the bank? People ask me all the time, and I'm like, do your own research and do what you think is best, but you tell me.
Yeah, no, it's very, very fair. For me, people have asked me this question a lot, like, how do you prevent this stuff? How do you know what's going to happen? In my belief is that this is just, it's always going to happen. And the reason is you're always going to find some bad actors that are driven by greed. I believe that greed, go back 100 years, 1,000 years, greed drives bad behavior.
Ugh,
and so when I look at what happened under the covers there, all of those really bad business decisions at FTX were driven by greed. Hey, what if we used everybody's money? We moved it over here. We leveraged it this way. Oh, we can make more money if we do this. Okay. Now you look at Silicon Valley Bank. Hey, listen, if we build a business that is focused on this one area only, and we invest it this way, okay, what happened? It collapsed, right? And so I feel like many, many, many times you can look at these scenarios and the business decisions are driven by greed. I'm actually a big believer in the right level of regulations in this space.
And you think that that's going to put a positive effect on the overall crypto market? It's going to bring in institutional investors in, because they're going to see, oh, it's regulated now, it's safer, maybe we can't see a lot of volatility because there's more regulations. Do you think that that's what's going to happen?
I do think that there's an aspect of that is good and healthy, is the right level of regulation. In the US, the tough part is, like, CoinLion has a money transmitter license, an MTL, and we have this in each state that we're going to do business in. The challenge with that is that every state is going to interpret crypto differently. And so it's like, oh man, can we have one governing body
right
that just says, here's what you have to do?
Is that ever going to happen?
I think it will.
You think so?
I really do.
The Fed has to do this, right?
Yeah, exactly. And so in our world, we have to report every quarter on what our assets look like. And we have to keep a 1-to-1 ratio at all times. Like,
wow.
if I say that I have 1 Bitcoin, I have to be able to show I have 1 Bitcoin.
Right. It can't be like fake funds or wash trading or virtual,
you got it.
Dollars. Like, who knows if Tether is legit or not? From what I've heard, it's really, people are just really not sure.
Yeah, and so when there's transparency like that, and I still think amazing companies can thrive with the right level of regulation. The regulation today, where every state in the U.S. can create their own requirements for an MTL, it's really hard. It's very, very burdensome.
I would not want to be in that situation where you must have so much paperwork.
Oh yeah, it's not ideal for sure.
Yeah, and so the regulations, obviously, I see it in the news nonstop. It's SEC and Powell and Yellen and all these people are always talking about what to do. Is it a security? Is it not a security?
Yep.
Eventually, we need this stuff to kind of come to fruition and say, here's the deal with crypto, and then let it go. Is that when it really begins?
There's that aspect. Like, we need some guidance, hey, on what crypto is going to be considered a security and what's going to be considered a commodity. Like, you guys have to make up your mind and give us guidance. Beyond that, though,
and for the listeners, can you kind of distinguish those two?
Think of a commodity as like more of a property that you're going to owe, versus the security is going to be driven by, think of stock, right? All of your stocks, where Apple is going to do work that creates value. Okay. And so, Apple's going to be a stock versus, a goods is going to be a commodity. And so, but, for the most part, there are a lot of these crypto tokens that really fall on the commodity side, not the security side.
Right.
And so, the other option is we say, hey, just kind of quit with either one of these. Let's have a new entity that's going to govern all crypto. Like just, hey, all you're going to do is govern crypto, because we can't necessarily pretend that everything is always going to fit into securities or commodities. Okay.
That makes sense.
And so that new governing body ideally would manage licenses. Hey, you have to get licensed, and then it governs all crypto tokens.
I like that. Now, I've been following crypto since the beginning, and I see the charts and the rainbow charts and the halving cycles, and there's all these, trading analysis and people out there that say they can time the market. They post it on Twitter, as you know. And, what's your take on the Bitcoin halving cycle, which there are similarities in each cycle? If you look at the charts, you put them together, you can see that it goes up, then it's the bear market, then the halving, it starts to rally, and then it goes down again, and then in the bear market, and then it halving again, and then it bull market again. What's your take on that? Is it legit or not?
I really do think that there's some truth behind it. The question is on the timing of it, right? And so you just look at the first 4 months of 23. Everybody's like, cool, we're in a bull rally now, and it's because Bitcoin's gonna be halving soon again. And so, right. And then honestly, the last 30 days has been pretty crappy. And so it's like, oh, wait,
again, what happened?
Was it too early, or is it like? And so that's with crypto. You're always gonna see these big pullbacks. I'm betting in the next 15, maybe it's 30 days, you're gonna see another rally. And so part of this is just like taking some deep breaths, knowing that this is all normal. You're going to have these big rallies and these big pullbacks.
All right. And the rally in, the halving May 2024 roughly is going to be the next big one. And they're saying, obviously everyone's saying, well, we didn't get 100K last time. So this time the next rally has to surpass the all-time high. We got it at 100K, 150, 200, 300. Is there any merit to that?
Boy, I don't know. I'm going to be the last guy to tell you what prices.
Well, let me ask you that. Let me ask you this, because everyone always asks me, and I don't know what to say either. So, do you think Bitcoin will ever reach 6 figures and 7 figures? Ever?
Yeah, I would not be surprised if it does. Do I think it's going to take more than 10 years? I do. I think it's going to take a while. But I would not be the least bit surprised if it does. I just think globally you're seeing a lot of shakeup in the currency space right now. I look at the US dollar trying to be dethroned as the reserve currency. It's kind of like, okay, anytime that there's a gap anywhere, it's going to get filled by something. Whether it's our lives, you got a gap in your life, it's going to get filled by something. Okay.
Yeah, I've been noticing that too. What you mentioned, the global currencies, right? I see a lot of countries shifting to oil and gold, and then they're trying to debase, like you said, the U.S. dollar. And there's a lot of money out there that could easily just dump into Bitcoin, which would create this humongous jump in value. And there's only 21 million of them. And if you really think about the ones that are lost, there's only 13 million of them, right?
Yeah.
There's really not that many out there if you really think about it. So that makes a lot of sense what you just said. So tell me what you think is going to happen if the dollar does continue to get roughed and tumbled.
Yeah, you're either going to have countries that band together and say, hey, we're going to use the new digital yuan or whatever it is. Or you're going to see crypto start to fill some of those gaps. Hey, why don't we start using a different, cryptocurrency? And here's one thing I'm probably going to share with you too. In my prior life, I built a healthcare tech company, started in my basement, sold it last year for more than $1 billion. Really cool story. The whole premise, though, was the idea of an electronic medical record that runs on a handheld device. Okay. Now, what inspired me to build this? The Palm Pilot, the BlackBerry, and the Handspring. Now, all three of those have disappeared.
Right.
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
they might be
they're still around in different versions, but yeah.
Now, does that mean that handhelds disappeared? Not at all. And so when I tell people the story, I'm like, hey, crypto is going to be the same way, where I believe crypto is here for the long haul. It will not go away. But the tokens today, even like an Ethereum, like, do I believe Ethereum is going to be here? I do. Fast forward 5 years, could it be gone? It absolutely could be. And so going back to, hey, what's going to fill the gap here if the US dollar gets dethroned as the reserve currency? I would not be surprised if certain tokens start stepping up and all of a sudden they're to the moon.
To the moon. I love it. And people can check you out where online?
CoinLion.com.
Awesome. Check it out if you need some crypto help. And Eric, this was awesome. Hopefully we do see a Bitcoin halving rally in the near future. And as always, hope you guys enjoyed this episode, and we'll see you in the next one.